13 years in the NFL, got hit a few times as well. 4-time Pro Bowler, our friend Michael Vick, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. By the way, watching Alex Smith, I was a nervous wreck watching Alex Smith. When you were watching Alex, how are you feeling, Michael?
You know, Alex is a good friend of mine, so, you know, just my heart was with him. But as excited as I was to see him out in the field, I also wanted him to protect himself and just get through the game. You know, when you're coming back from an injury like that, it's all about just getting hit for the first time, getting a feel for the game again, getting that flow of the game, and just trying to, you know, gel with your teammates and figure out what the game is really all about again. Because, you know, he's 2 years removed from playing his last game. So, you know, things have changed a little bit, but I know he's a smart guy. He's paid attention to, you know, how the game is transpired. But at the same time, getting that first hit and knocking off the cobwebs is something I know that he was excited about.
So Russell Wilson is the best closer in this league, and I don't know what it is, Michael, but some guys get tight late in games. Some guys get loose late in games. What do you think it is about Russell that he didn't even play well last night? He struggled the whole game. Yeah. And then there's a minute and a half left, and he's absolutely brilliant. What is it about his makeup that makes it work?
Well, the fact that he was able to fight through the elements, a wet ball, you know, raining all night, that was one thing, and that was key. To be able to handle that was something special within itself. But, you know, Russell's going down as one of the greatest of all time, man, and he just got ice water in his veins. Nothing seems to faze him. He believes in himself, and you can almost look at his eyes and just his mannerisms throughout the game and know if he's going to be off or on that night. And 90% of the time he's on. Like, he's just one of the greatest, one of the best to ever do it, and I admire him so much. You know, if my son grew up and played quarterback, you know, I'm going to make sure that he watched a lot of Russell Wilson film.
Yeah, there's something about Russell, his conviction. He's not afraid to fail. They're just certain.
Right.
He's got there's just some bedrock quality to him that he believes in himself. Yeah. You know, maybe it's his religious background. It gives him some certainty in his life. He calls it being neutral. He doesn't get high. He doesn't get low. And I love Brady, but Brady can yell and scream, and you just don't see it from Russell. It's a great innate quality he has. Now, the Dak Prescott situation, as somebody who's played in this game, and do you think it hurts Dak going forward as the Cowboy quarterback? Do you think they'll franchise him again? What do you think happens next year for Dak?
You know, I think Jerry Jones, he honors Dak and what Dak has stood for over the last 4 to 5 years. It's been nonstop for Dak ever since he came out of college and just being thrust into the lineup. You know, having to, you know, be the predecessor for Tony Romo was not an easy task. America's team and, you know, everything that comes along with that. He's handled it extremely well. And, you know, sometimes positive, sometimes negative press has been surrounding him. But Dak has been one of the guys who has rose to the occasion. I think we all love him for that and we respect him for that. And obviously his teammates does as well. So I think moving forward, Jerry Jones will pay it forward to Dak. It might not be the most lucrative deal, but it'll be something respective and you know, just, you know, for everything that Dak has stood for and how hard he's worked, man, I think he deserves another, you know, 3 or 4 years to show, you know, that he's the Cowboys franchise quarterback for the next, you know, up and coming years.
You know, we said Andy Dalton is efficient. That I don't think he's Dak, but he's efficient. Could they still win a division with Andy Dalton?
Absolutely. I've always been a big fan of Andy Dalton. I thought he was one of the guys, even in Cincinnati when he didn't have the most talent, he made the most of what he had. And one of my former coaches, James Urban, worked with him throughout the course of his career early and just had a lot of praise and a lot of great things to say about him. And it showed up. It showed up on the field when he had weapons out there. He was able to, you know, win games. And I think he's an efficient quarterback, and certainly Jerry Jones is patting himself on the back for this move. And I'm glad that they made this move so that the Cowboys just don't tank. Because when you don't have a good backup quarterback, you know, it becomes dismal for the entire team. And guys just, they started to give up and feel like the season is a wash. And that's not the case here. Still a lot to fight for. NFC East wide open like we talk about. And I can't wait to see what Andy Dalton's going to do filling in for Dak.
Yeah, I mean, Washington, New York are in rebuilds. Philadelphia is not a lot of dynamic playmakers there. So I think Andy Dalton can make – I don't think they'll be quite as mobile at quarterback, but this is a wide receiver-driven franchise right now anyway. So yesterday it was Jimmy Garoppolo was coming off a little bit of an ankle injury, and Mike, he was awful. He threw into a cover two one time, and that's like a high school mistake. Is it the injury? I mean, give me your thoughts on what happened, because it was hard to watch.
Yeah, I watched the game, and it's certainly the injury. You can see Jimmy G trying to compensate and make certain throws. And his base is just not there. One thing about an ankle injury, you just lose a lot of power in your lower body, and you got to be able to step into throws and not be worried about, if that ankle's going to get rolled up again, because it's something that is on your conscience consistently. When I had my ankle injury and coming back, the only thing I didn't want to do was get it rolled up on again. So it was kind of like altering, my throwing motion, and now I'm a little out of sync in terms of my base. And those are things that has to happen on a throw like that. If you don't have your base up under you, the ball sail on you, and you just got to be nice and compact in the pocket and confident. And it certainly showed. And the Miami Dolphins defense, they knew that. They knew he wasn't 100%. He was probably 80 to 85%, and that's just not good enough at the quarterback position. Maybe if it was an upper body injury, a rib or shoulder injury, he could have made it through, but certainly not the lower body. It's just a totally different animal when you're dealing with that.
Michael Vick joining us. For the record, I get analytics, but I do think all sports are best served when you listen to all the analytics, but there's still moments where I'm just going to lean on my alpha males. So I did not like, and you tell me, I did not like the Vikings going for it last night, because my takeaway was, I know who the other quarterback is, and Russell Wilson, I've seen him do this. They went for it on 4th and 1.5 and didn't get it. If they kick a field goal, they're up by 8. The worst they can do is overtime. That's the worst they can do. If you're a quarterback, you probably fight to go for it. But what would you make of the call by Minnesota?
I would have had a long talk with my coach before this call was made. And if we had a timeout, I probably would have called timeout to just talk it over, just to reassure him, if we kick this field goal, then they got to get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion in a difficult situation, with the elements and just how well we played throughout the game. I feel like, the Vikings had some momentum. I would have kicked the field goal, and I would have made Russ drive the length of the field in those elements, have to score a touchdown and to get a 2-point conversion, which is sometimes not ideal and easy to do. And those are the type of decisions that get coaches fired.
Yeah.
Because now you go from, I think you're 1-4 now, when you could easily have been 2-3. It makes a big difference for the morale of the team. And when you're a coach, you got to think about the team overall. And I understand being aggressive, and it's a time and a place for that. But, on the road, in Seattle, facing Russell Wilson, you just don't make that decision right then and there. You kick the field goal and show your defense that you believe in them.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, because the Bears won in your division on Thursday night. Green Bay is on fire. So to your point, like, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, my division keeps winning.
Right.
Yeah, and so, I am not a guy that doubts play calling at all, but I didn't like, plus wet field, wet ball, a running back can have it. You can be open, cut back and fall. Yeah. To your point, I didn't like it.
And you see they had to make some miraculous plays just to get down the field after they got the ball on the 4-yard line and went 96 yards. I mean, it's just amazing, man. Russ is amazing.
Good stuff, Michael. Appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.